Good to go.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dan Scripps, Chair of the Michigan Public Service Commission, and I call this meeting of the Commission to order on April 21st, 2021 at 10:30 a.m. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Chair Scripps.
I am present and attending remotely from Leelanau County, Michigan.
Commissioner Phillips.
I am present and participating remotely from Ingham County, Michigan. It's hovering just above freezing here this morning.
Commissioner Paratek.
I am present and attending remotely from Wayne County, Michigan.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Today's meeting is again held remotely under the authority of a declaration of a state of emergency for the County of Eaton pursuant to a resolution of the Eaton County Board of Commissioners adopted on March 17, 2021. We are holding this meeting remotely using Microsoft Live Event. It is compatible with all browsers except Safari. Telephone relay service is available through the phone option. If you are participating via live stream, you may also turn on the live captions by clicking on the closed caption or CC button in the lower right corner of the screen. During this meeting, we will call out participant names before speaking to support those listening only by phone or using relay service. As indicated in the notice for today's meeting, if we lose connection, the Commission will be in recess. We will attempt to re-establish a connection, but if we are unable to do so within 15 minutes, we will adjourn. Decisions made prior to the disconnection will be binding. Other business will be handled at a future meeting. We will not recess or adjourn due to technical issues experienced by individual members of the public. The meeting will be recorded and available for future reference on the Commission's website. In addition, the Commissioners can receive comment via mpsc_commissioners@michigan.gov. For reference, this email is also included in the Q&A feature on the live stream event on your computer and in the meeting notice. If you have intermittent internet service, you should consider listening to the meeting via telephone, not the computer. So if there is an interruption, you can avoid missing part of the meeting. Another option is to watch the meeting through your internet service with the sound muted and then listen to the audio from your phone. Please keep in mind the video feed has a slight delay while the telephone line is in real time. We will have an opportunity for the public to make comment as provided in the agenda. A few notes about this. Comments should be limited to one per person and can be made verbally by calling in or in writing via the live stream Q&A feature. If you are participating via Teams application, you can use the Q&A feature and type your comments in the box anytime during our meeting, and we will have those queued up to read. The Q&A function should be used to request technical assistance or to submit public comments directed to the Commission. If you would like to make verbal comments, you must call into the meeting by phone. And to minimize disruptions, attendees will be muted until we reach the time for public comment. The first order of business is approval of the agenda for today's meeting, and I recognize Commissioner Phillips.
Thank you, Chair. I move for the approval of the agenda for today's Commission meeting.
Commissioner Paratek?
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We'll now have a roll call vote on the motion to approve today's agenda. Commissioner Phillips?
Aye.
Commissioner Paratek?
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote and the agenda is approved. The next item of business on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the April 8, 2021 Commission meeting. Commissioner Phillips?
I move for the approval of the minutes from the April 8th, 2021 Commission meeting.
Issues that they have with that. So,
I recognize Commissioner Paratek.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a roll call vote on the motion to approve the minutes from the April 8, 2021 Commission meeting. Commissioner Phillips?
Aye.
Commissioner Paratek?
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote, and the Commission meeting minutes of April 8, 2021 are approved. The next item of business on the agenda is approval of the orders and minute actions on the consent agenda, and today the Commission is assisted by Staff Attorney Jana Bachman. Ms. Bachman.
Good morning. Today's consent agenda consists of 7 communication matters and 1 electric matter. The proposed orders and minute actions for these matters have been thoroughly vetted by the Commission's technical and legal staff and are ready for your approval.
Thank you, Ms. Bachman. I recognize Commissioner Phillips.
Thank you, Chair. I move for the approval of the orders and minute actions on the consent agenda.
Commissioner Paratek?
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a roll call vote on the motion to approve the orders and minute actions on the consent agenda. Commissioner Phillips?
Aye.
Commissioner Peretic?
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The orders and minute actions on the consent agenda are approved. Ms. Bachman?
Item 4A1 is case number U-20326, which involves the application as amended filed by Great Lakes Energy Connections Incorporated for expansion of the geographic area of its designation as an eligible telecommunications carrier. The order before you approves the application.
Thank you, Ms. Bachman. Commissioner Phillips?
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-20326.
I recognize Commissioner Peretic.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a roll call vote on the motion to approve the order. Commissioner Phillips?
Aye.
Commissioner Peretic?
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote, and the order in case number U-20326 is approved. Back to you, Ms. Bachman.
Item 4A2 is case number U-20952, which involves the application as amended filed by MEI Telecom Incorporated for a designation as a high-cost eligible telecommunications carrier within certain areas in Michigan. The order before you approves the application as amended, conditioned upon MEI Telecom Incorporated meeting all requirements set forth in the order.
Thank you, Ms. Bachman. I recognize Commissioner Phillips.
Chair, I move for the approval of the order in case number U-20952.
I recognize Commissioner Peretic.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a roll call vote on the motion to approve the order. Commissioner Phillips?
Aye.
Commissioner Peretic?
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case number U-20952 is approved. Ms. Bachman?
Item 4B1 is case number U-20628, which involves a motion filed by Northern States Power Company requesting ex parte authority to extend the April 1st, 2021 deadline for filing updates to its demand response tariff as directed by the October 29th, 2020 order in case numbers U-20628 et al., and to integrate this update into the company's future general electric rate case to be filed by the end of 2021. The order before you grants the request.
Thank you, Ms. Bachman. I recognize Commissioner Phillips.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-20628.
I recognize Commissioner Peretic.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a roll call vote on the motion to approve the order. Commissioner Phillips?
Aye.
Commissioner Peretic?
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case number U-20628 is approved. Ms. Bachman?
Item 4B2 is case numbers U-20713 et al., which involves a consolidated matter concerning the applications of DTE Electric Company for approval of its voluntary green pricing program pursuant to Section 61 of Public Act 342 of 2016 and approval of its amended renewable energy plan pursuant to Public Act 295 of 2008. The order before you adopts a schedule for a contested partial settlement agreement proceeding, adopts a schedule for the company's request for a financial compensation mechanism, and indicates that the Commission will read the record in this consolidated manner.
Thank you, Ms. Bachman. I recognize Commissioner Phillips.
Chair, I move for the approval of the order in case numbers U-20713 et al.
I recognize Commissioner Peretic.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a roll call vote on the motion to approve the order. Commissioner Phillips?
Aye.
Commissioner Peretic?
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case numbers U-20713 et al. Is approved. Ms. Bachman?
Item 4B3 is case number U-20829, which involves a notice of intent to serve filed by Upper Michigan Energy Resources Corporation pursuant to Mich Admin Code R460.341110 to serve the three-phase electric needs of Aquila Resources USA Incorporated, Back 40 Mine in Lake Township, Menominee County in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. The order before you grants the petition for rehearing filed by Alger Delta Cooperative Electric Association, but denies the relief requested therein.
Thank you, Ms. Bachman. I recognize Commissioner Phillips.
Thank you, Chair. I move for the approval of the order in case number U-20829.
I recognize Commissioner Paratek.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a roll call vote on the motion to approve the order. Commissioner Phillips.
Aye.
Commissioner Paratek.
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote, and the order in case number U-20829 is approved. Ms. Bachman, back to you.
Item 4B4 is case number U-20929, which involves the joint application of DTE Gas Company and DTE Electric Company for approval of a low-income payment stability plan pilot program. The order before you approves the joint application.
I recognize Commissioner Phillips.
Chair, I move for the approval of the order in case number U-20929.
I recognize Commissioner Paratek.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion?
Chair, I would like to make some comments here, and I appreciate you providing me with the time. The order before the Commission this morning approves both DTE Gas and DTE Electric's joint request for support of the company's Payment Stability Plan, our PSP pilot program. The pilot program is a response to the Commission's request in DTE Electric's approved rate case in U-20561 and is designed to assist financially distressed households that, 1, possess incomes at or below 200% of the federal poverty level, 2, have total arrearages with both are one of the companies that are at or below $1,500, and 3, have annual gas and or electric consumption that is less than or equal to $3,750. The pilot program will limit participating customer bills to 6% of the customer's gross income in that past year for those who are single commodity customers, and limit bills to 10% of the customer's annual gross income for dual commodity customers. Participants who successfully make on-time and in full monthly credits will see a reduction in their past due balances. And lastly, participating customers will also be offered energy waste reduction resources and services through the company's approved EWR programs. The Commission has learned a lot and a great deal over the past year about the acute and chronic challenges faced by customers that are in need of energy assistance services. From these learnings, the Commission and staff have redoubled our efforts to focus on affordability and accessibility barriers experienced by these households and communities. We have focused on expanding the eligibility and providing more pathways for customers to access the assistance they need. We have sought to better align energy assistance programs with utility energy waste reduction programs. And ultimately, we have continued to better understand how to curb the cyclical nature of unpaid balances and subsequent shutoffs faced by financially distressed customers. If there is one thing that we have learned over the past year, it is that this cycle does not benefit anyone in the energy ecosystem. It does not benefit the utility companies. It does not benefit communities and other ratepayers, and it certainly does not benefit families and households caught in that churn. I applaud the work of our staff and interveners in 20561 who pushed for and worked with the companies to develop this pilot program. And I thank those at DTE Gas and DTE Electric for their continued communication, collaboration, and improvement of this and other energy assistance programs and pilots. Our hope is that this pilot program not only provides a pathway for participating customers to significantly reduce or eliminate their past due balances, but also provides a scalable programmatic design that can begin to chip away at the cyclical nature of unpaid balances and subsequent shutoffs. Our hope is that this pilot can be a best practice for other utilities in the state and be a means for restoring dignity and pride to those households in need who are doing their very best to make ends meet. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Phillips, and very well said. And thank you as well for your leadership on this and the sort of diligence and persistence you've brought to this endeavor. It certainly has benefited from it. Any additional discussion on this? We will now have a roll call vote on the motion to approve the order. Commissioner Phillips?
Aye.
Commissioner Paratic?
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case number U-20929 is approved. Ms. Bachman?
Item 4B5 is case number U-21031, which involves an ex parte application filed by Upper Peninsula Power Company, requesting approval to amend its rate book for electric service to expand customer eligibility of its non-standard meter provision to include commercial customers. The order before you approves the application.
Thank you, Ms. Bachman. I recognize Commissioner Phillips.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21031.
I recognize Commissioner Paratic.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a roll call vote on the motion to approve the order. Commissioner Phillips?
Aye.
Commissioner Paratic?
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21031 is approved. Back to you, Ms. Bachman.
Item 4C1 is case number U-20763, which involves an application filed by Enbridge Energy Limited Partnership pursuant to Public Act 16 of 1929, requesting approval of the Straits Line 5 replacement segment project. Staff Attorney Lisa Gold will describe this order.
Good morning, Commissioners. On April 17, 2020, Enbridge Energy Limited Partnership filed an application under Public Act 16 of 1929, requesting that the Commission grant Enbridge the authority for its project known as the Straits Line 5 Replacement Segment, also known as the Replacement Project. Line 5 is a 645-mile pipeline that transports light crude and natural gas liquids from Superior, Wisconsin to Sarnia, Ontario. The replacement project involves a proposal to replace the 4 miles of Line 5 pipeline that run through the Straits of Mackinac and currently sit on the lake bed, with a new pipeline that is housed in a concrete tunnel. This is a contested case that involves many parties and is still in the early stages. Direct evidence from intervening parties and rebuttal evidence have not been filed yet. On September 2nd, 2020, Enbridge filed a motion in limine, which is a request to limit the evidence in the case that may be presented on specific issues. Several parties opposed the motion and other parties supported it. On October 23, 2020, the administrative law judge hearing the case, or the ALJ, issued a ruling granting the motion in part and denying it in part. On November 6, 2020, several parties filed applications to appeal the initial ruling to the Commission, seeking to have the Commission reverse that ruling. Before these appeals could be heard by the Commission, on December 9, 2020, the Commission issued an order remanding the motion in limine to the ALJ in light of Governor Whitmer's November 13, 2020 issuance of a notice of revocation of the existing Line 5 easement in the Straits. The parties re-argued the motion. On February 23, 2021, the ALJ issued a second ruling granting the motion in part and denying it in part, consistent with his first ruling. On March 9, 2021, several parties again filed applications to appeal the second ruling, seeking to have the Commission reverse this ruling as well. In the order before you, the Commission hears both sets of appeals. The applications for appeal address two issues. First, the review of the operation of and the public need for Line 5 in its entirety. And second, the application of the Michigan Environmental Protection Act, or MEPA, to the replacement project, including whether climate change must be considered in making a determination under MEPA. Respecting the first issue, the ALJ granted the motion in limine and agreed with Enbridge that the evidence should be limited. The ALJ determined that the opposing parties did not provide any substantive legal basis for finding that a review of the operation of Line 5 in its entirety or a redetermination of the public need for Line 5 is required. In the order before you, the Commission agrees with the ALJ and comes to the same conclusion. Respecting the second issue, the ALJ also granted the motion in limine. The ALJ found no legal basis under MEPA for examining greenhouse gas emissions that may be associated with the replacement project. In the order before you, the Commission disagrees with the ALJ and finds that the allegations of greenhouse gas pollution made by several parties fit within the language of Section 5 of MEPA and must be reviewed in this case. Thus, the Commission finds that the parties are free to introduce evidence addressing the presence of greenhouse gas emissions and any pollution, impairment, or destruction arising from the replacement project.
Thank you, Ms. Gold. I recognize Commissioner Phillips.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Ms. Gold, for the presentation and for your continued work with us on this order. I move for the approval of the order in case number U-20763.
I recognize Commissioner Paratek.
I second the motion.
Before we move to the vote, I want to offer a few thoughts on the order before us. First, the Commission thanks Administrative Law Judge Mack for his able efforts in adjudicating this proceeding and for producing not one, but two well-reasoned and timely rulings on the motion in limine. We also thank the parties for their ongoing work in developing the arguments considered in today's order. The authorization to construct Line 5 in 1953 did not contain an end date, and nothing in Act 16 provides us with the ability to impose one after the fact. As such, the order before us limits our review in this case to the project proposed, the replacement of the existing dual 20-inch pipelines that lie on the bottomlands of the Straits with a new 4-mile, 30-inch pipeline segment that Enbridge proposes to house within a tunnel under the easement granted through Act 359 of 2018. We will, consistent with our past application of the statutory requirements of Act 16, determine whether the applicant has established a public need for the replacement project, whether the proposed replacement project is designed and routed in a reasonable manner, and whether the construction of the replacement project will meet or exceed current safety and engineering standards. But we are not reconsidering the need for or authority for the existing pipeline, or Enbridge's ongoing ability to utilize the other 641 miles of Line 5 not contained in the company's application in this case. This same adherence to statute informs our application of the requirements of MEPA to the proposed replacement project. The language of the statute requires a determination by state agencies of whether the proposed conduct will pollute, impair, or destroy Michigan's natural resources. Courts have made it clear that this responsibility also applies to agencies like the Commission that are not primarily environmental regulators, and specifically that pipeline siting cases before the Commission trigger the need for this MEPA review. The order before us applies this framework and does a number of things. First, we find that based on the overwhelming consensus of the scientific community as referenced by parties in this case, that greenhouse gas emissions are a pollutant under MEPA and need to be considered as part of the Commission's MEPA analysis when raised by parties in a case. Second, both common sense and the language of Act 16 require us to consider both the construction of the proposed pipeline segment and the products that will flow through it. Oil and gas companies do not build pipelines simply for the sake of doing so, but as Act 16 makes clear, in order to transport products. As such, the Commission cannot divorce a pipeline from its purpose and must consider as part of its MEPA analysis the products flowing through the proposed pipeline or pipeline segment. Notably, neither of these first two conclusions, that a MEPA review must include consideration of greenhouse gas emissions when raised by parties in a case, and that such a review includes both the proposed pipeline and the products that flow through it, are dependent upon the notice of revocation and termination filed by the Governor and the Department of Natural Resources regarding Enbridge's current easement across the bottomlands of the Straits. Given the uncertainty surrounding this issue, however, the Commission finds it would be imprudent at this early stage in the proceeding to prohibit parties from introducing evidence on this issue, including the appropriate bases of comparison for any pollution, impairment, or destruction attributable to the proposed replacement project. These issues are inherently questions of fact and will benefit from the development of record evidence through the course of this proceeding. Finally, the Commission notes that testimony from the intervening parties is due in less than a month and acknowledges that the order before us likely changes the nature and scope of some of the testimony to be submitted. As such, we authorize Judge Mack to modify the case schedule as needed to accommodate any additional time needed by the parties in this regard. Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Well said, Chair. Thank you.
We will now have a roll call vote on the motion to approve the order. Commissioner Phillips.
Aye.
Commissioner Peretick.
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case number U-20763 is approved. Ms. Bachmann?
Item 4C2 is case number U-21027, which involves an ex parte application by Semco Energy Gas Company requesting a waiver of MISH-Admin Code Rule 460.2351 and adoption of MISH-Admin Code Rule 460.2351A for testing diaphragm meters and related relief. The order before you approves the application.
Thank you, Ms. Bachmann. I recognize Commissioner Phillips.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21027.
Commissioner Peretick.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a roll call vote on the motion to approve the order. Commissioner Phillips.
Aye.
Commissioner Peretick.
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21027 is approved. Ms. Bachmann?
Item 4D1 is case number U-20943, which involves the application of Detroit Thermal LLC for ex parte approval of a steam service agreement with Fisher 2015 Acquisition LLC and 7300 Woodward LLC. The order before you approves the steam service agreement, which is attached to the order as Exhibit A.
Thank you, Ms. Bachmann. I recognize Commissioner Phillips.
Thank you, Chair. I move for the approval of the order in case number U-20943.
Commissioner Peretick.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a roll call vote on the motion to approve the order. Commissioner Phillips.
Aye.
Commissioner Peretick.
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case number U-20943 is approved. Ms. Bachmann.
Item 4D2 is case number U-21026, which involves an application filed by Detroit Thermal LLC for ex parte approval of a special contract for the supply of steam between Detroit Thermal LLC and Nederlander Detroit LLC. The order before you approves the special contract, which is attached to the order as Exhibit A.
Thank you, Ms. Bachmann. I recognize Commissioner Phillips.
Chair, I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21026.
Commissioner Peretick.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a roll call vote on the motion to approve the order. Commissioner Phillips.
Aye.
Commissioner Peretick.
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote, and the order in case number U-21026 is approved. We have now reached the time reserved for members of the public to address the Commission. Again, if you would like to make a comment and have access to the Teams live stream Q&A feature on your computer, please enter your name and your comment, which will then be read aloud to the Commissioners. This feature is available on the right-hand side of the control bar next to the mute button. As a reminder, the Q&A feature is intended for public comments directed at the Commission and not to engage with other participants or respond to their comments. After taking any comments through this feature, we will open up the phone line for those who called into the meeting and would like to address the Commission verbally. If you want to be queued up for verbal comments, please enter your name in the live stream Q&A feature and indicate that you wish to make a verbal comment, but please do not include your written comment as this will avoid duplication. I will first call on these names in the order received. After hearing from those individuals listed in the Q&A, We will ask if there are any comments from individuals who are on the phone line but not utilizing the online Q&A feature. Please note that you can only make verbal comments by calling into the meeting. When it is your turn to speak, press *6 on your phone to unmute. As a reminder, this public comment period is for commissioners to listen to comments and concerns and not to answer specific questions. When providing comment, please indicate your name and where you live if you are willing to share so that we have that for our records. And please limit comments to 1 per person and keep them brief, no longer than 3 minutes, so we have a chance to hear from all who would like to comment. Ms. Cole, I believe that you are again ably assisting us in the public comment portion of today's meeting. And I guess I'm wondering if there are any public comments that have been entered into the Q&A feature.
Good morning, Chair Scripps. At this time, there are no requests in the live Q&A feature from anyone wishing to make a public comment.
And no written comments there either, just to double check.
Correct.
Okay. We will then open this up to the phone. Again, it's *6 to unmute. And if you would like to make a public comment at this time, you can do so by unmuting your phone and we'll take you in the order that we hear you. Is there anybody on the phone today that would like to make a comment? Again, it's *6 to unmute if you're on the phone and hoping to make a comment today. I will give it one more chance, just knowing that sometimes the process of unmuting can be a difficult one. Is there anybody on the phone who is hoping to make a public comment at this time? Okay. I think the only announcement I have today is that we still have an open position for a public utilities engineer in the electric operations section. This individual will perform engineering duties related to the Commission's regulation of electric outages, electric reliability, power quality, utility pole attachments, electric territory disputes, and stray voltage, as well as serving as an expert witness in utility rate cases on the topics of distribution, capital expenditures, and operations and maintenance spending. Finally, this employee will serve as a project leader for the creation of reliability metrics for the governor's and MPSC dashboards, and for analysis of new technologies that can improve electric distribution performance. This posting closes tomorrow, the 22nd at 5:00 p.m. So you've got a day to apply if you're interested. And more information and a link to apply can be found on our website, michigan.gov/MPSC. Are there any other announcements this morning?
I do have just a brief announcement, Chair. I would just like to make customers and stakeholders aware that funds allocated through the COVID-19 Emergency Rental Assistance Program are now available for eligible renters. A portal has been established through the Michigan State Housing Development Authority for individuals to be able to apply to receive those funds. Those funds can be utilized to help renters not only pay for their monthly rental costs, but it can also be applied to energy utility bills as well as broadband monthly bills as well. So I please encourage renters to go to MSHDA's website. That can be accessed through michigan.gov/MSHDA. And that portal will again allow them to have access to those funds if they are eligible. We have received notice that these funds likely will not last through the middle of the summer. So again, really encourage folks to access this opportunity sooner rather than later. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Phillips, for that important announcement. Anything else before we wrap up? Well, that concludes today's meeting. The next regular commission meeting is scheduled for Thursday, May 13, 2021 at 1 p.m. Is there a motion to adjourn, Commissioner Phillips?
I move to adjourn today's commission meeting.
I recognize Commissioner Paratek.
I second the motion.
We will now have a roll call vote on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Commissioner Phillips?
Aye.
Commissioner Paratek?
Aye.
I also vote in favor of the motion. The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Be well.
Thank you. Great work, all.